All right, boys. Welcome back to day 16, and we're starting the day out right by finalizing the sticker pattern on the trailer. We gotta let people know who we are, baby. Boom. Got the milezero.racers at and YouTube and Instagram symbols. We're gonna put 2 on the door and 2 on the doors in the back. So let's go. How about it? Let's have a Monday. Let's have a great week of progress, and I hope you guys also have a fantastic Monday and a rest of the week. It's gonna be a great one. Dude, check that out. Oh, man. That looks really good. I am so pumped on the results of that. So now we're gonna head to the back of the trailer. So when people are trailing us, they know who we are. So as I sit here, I'm thinking this side needs to be the side, right? Yeah, I'm thinking this side because the Honda sticker's over there. We're gonna have the @ signs right over here. Like, guys, that's perfect. I'm so pumped. And I'm obviously going to make another Honda sticker and throw it, like, down here or something. Because we need Honda stickers. Dude, does it look like I like Honda or something? Well, I guess I bleed red. All right, guys. So today is Monday. I believe this is day 16. And what do we have to do? Well, first and foremost, it is 5 after 10 a.m. And as you know, yesterday we made great progress on the K. We made some wiring progress on the F, but ran into some roadblocks. Today, the shop is a bit of a mess. I'm going to go through and do a quick clean sweep, reorganize, put the tools back where they need to be, and then I have one of a local friends slash rider slash bike builder, Alan from Flower City Moto. He's dropping by the shop today. And I cannot wait for him to finally see the shop and kind of shoot the shit and catch up. I need to get to wiring up all of the connections to the F. So that means putting in a Deutsch connector on the speedometer, the front left handlebar control, the headlight, and then also thinking through how the rear cowl is going to detach and things like that. So basically going through a final loom on what I've done so far on the F, because that's pretty much as far as I can get until about the end of the week. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and get the belly pan mold prepped because I'm going to have to start making them tomorrow. That's kind of the goal. I'm going to get here super early and see if I can bang out 2 in one day. It's never really been done before. It's like a full day event because of how long the gel coat takes to dry, how long it takes to have the resin set up, and then the resin has to cure, but then you have to cut it before it fully cures, so then you don't get the dust everywhere. So there's quite a few steps involved with making a belly pan. But I will say, I am optimistic that I'm going to be able to make 2 in one day because the weather is much warmer outside. I was making belly pans in the winter, springtime, when we're fighting humidity, we're fighting cold, hot with the indoor heater and the really cold air outside. So now we have really consistent air and humidity. It's not extremely hot, but it's not extremely cold. It's actually the perfect working temperature. So that means I have a feeling that the gel coat is going to be 2 times quicker to dry, and the resin, the fiberglass resin, is going to obviously just cure at proper times, and I'll be able to pull that much quicker than I otherwise would have been able to in the past. So I think I'll be able to get 2 belly pans done tomorrow. That's going to be the absolute main focus. Probably absolutely 0 bike progress tomorrow. Just belly pans got to get made, because this week we should be receiving the engine for the K, the cowl for the K, the cowl for the F, the front headlight cowl for the K and the F. And that means at that point I will have every body panel that needs to go to paint. And I need to get my stuff ready to go for paint as soon as possible, because we have to be to the show in less than a month. And I don't want my painter rushing. I don't want to be rushing on decisions on how I want the paint to come together with pinstriping and accent colors, things like that. So this is a big week. This is going to be a pivotal week in going from really feeling like we're not going to make this thing to feeling like we're going to make this thing. Because as soon as the engine is in the K frame, I'm like zero excuses after then. So yeah, I was glad I made the progress I did yesterday. And today, let's just go ahead, quick clean the shop before Alan stops by the shop, because obviously I want it to be well representative of the space that I work in. I like things clean, but obviously I'm in the middle of like 30 different jobs at the moment, so it's natural that the shop's going to get dirty. So it is what it is. Another extremely long clip of me talking, and I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize because, guys, if you're new to this series, I am building 2 show Club Sport CB750s, 2 show motorcycles, like full-blown show motorcycles. Every single piece is brand new. In preparation for a show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Glory Days Motorcycle Show. That is on September 20th and 21st of 2025 of this year. That's 23 or 25 days from today. And I'm at a point where one bike is right there and one bike is on the lift. One is about 58% complete, and one is about 15% complete. And we need to go ahead and see if within this time frame we can assemble and showcase 2 show bikes before the deadline of the show. And the reason, if you have been watching and you don't really understand the reason as to why I'm doing this, the reason as to why I am doing this is because this is the pivotal point in my career of building motorcycles and the pivotal point in turning Mile Zero into a business/hobby into a real full-blown business. And how I'm doing that is through building these 2 bikes that are gonna feature an entire line of products that are Club Sport CB750 specific that I've been developing with Ryan from Choice City Moto for the last year. And all of this work for the last year is now coming down to the last 20 days before the show. And I have to get these to the show because it's the last big show of 2025. And I cannot wait until spring of 2026 to release this stuff. I need to leverage the winter for people getting into their big builds come winter time. So that's where this goes from hobby/business to real blown business. This is my final vision. This is the ultimate vision that I always saw as a way to make money doing this stuff and turning it into a full-fledged thing. And that's been a goal of mine for a very long time. I've been working for 5 years, day in, day out, multiple jobs, multiple headaches to get to this point. And yes, we have made countless accomplishments, and I am extremely grateful and thankful for the opportunity to do this, the courage to do this, and God for giving me this strength and power and guidance and journey to be here today talking to you guys on the camera with the shop sitting behind us in the background. I could not, as a 20-year-old kid when I started this in 2020, if that puts an age to my number, I'm 25, I would never have thought in a million years that building the Club Sport, the blue original Club Sport V1 would get us to this point. And the whole point of the series is to hold myself accountable and dedicated to what I'm doing, so regardless of the outcome in the end, I am putting every ounce of my soul and living being into this thing, and regardless of the outcome, I will be satisfied with the effort I put in because I know that I could not have done any more to change the outcome. It just is what it is at that point. But that's not how we're thinking about things. We're going to make this work. We're going to make this a success, and thank you for letting me talk to you guys through the process, honestly. And I know this has been an extremely long clip. And like I said in the beginning of me talking about this stuff, I am not going to apologize for speaking. I really do hope that you guys are enjoying this. I really hope that you are enjoying the realness, the rawness, and I'm not chasing any views. I'm not chasing any clickbait. This is just simply me bringing you guys, the core MZR followers, down the journey that I'm going down of what I just explained. So I got to stop talking now. This has actually been too long of a talking segment. So I'm going to apologize at this point. So we're going to roll the time lapse. I'm going to clean up the shop and get prepared for Alan to stop by. So yeah, today's going to be a great Monday. I have a huge confidence we're going to make a lot of progress, and this week is going to be a pivotal week of progress. I'd say the shop looks pretty freaking sick at the moment. So, pulled the bikes over here in their little area, and then I put the CB750 on a rear wheel stand because I need to adjust the chain. It's really loose. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that quick. It's nothing crazy, but it's just general maintenance. It's a brand new chain, so it's stretched out pretty good. Let's take a quick walk around the shop, and then I'm going to get to wiring the bikes up and working on the F.
So here's the entrance of the garage door. You look right.
This is the fiberglass belly pan making section. That's a foldable workbench. It comes up, and then we have a good workspace to work off of.
And then we obviously have the grill, air compressor, and then kind of just storage over there, random things.
And then normally these bikes aren't in here. Like normally the GT 750 is in the storage unit. A bike like this is in the storage unit, but I just haven't gotten around to bringing them over. And I kind of like seeing a few bikes in here. And then obviously we have the daily / beauty of a beautiful motorcycle that is just such a joy to ride on display right here.
Thing is absolutely beautiful. So obviously we have this bike for a 2026 customer build. We're going to start offering 2026 commissioned club sports. So if anyone's interested, this bike could turn into your club sport. Then, of course, we have the ultra rare GT 750 from 1974 that I pulled out of the barn, wasn't on the road since 1980, and I got it running, riding, and I've been putting so many miles on it this summer. It's so fun to ride. 2-stroke. And then, of course, we have the giveaway bike, the Honda CB450 CSL that we built 2 years ago. We've decided to part ways with it, and then ultimately decided that a giveaway would be the coolest thing because we recently hit 100,000 followers on Instagram.
If you guys haven't seen our Instagram, we keep things pretty up to date on there. But now that we're doing the daily vlogs on YouTube, we're the most up to date on YouTube with what we're doing because I'm literally daily vlogging my every single day. But yeah, you guys can enter to win this. We're 50% full. This will be on display at Glory Days with both club sports. But this is going to be in its own little segment with a nice little giveaway sign and poster so people can enter there. But guys, slots are filling up pretty quick. So if you want to secure spots, multiple entries are encouraged. U.S. residents only. And a bunch of details that you can learn on the website. Just hit the link in the description below if you want to enter today. But if you just wanted to get one entry, it's $35. At that point, think of it as just kind of donating to all the stuff that I'm doing. Honestly, it would really mean the world to me if you guys can support what I do and what I'm doing and the effort. If you've come this far to watch religiously day in, day out, it really, 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 really step it up a notch and mean the world to me if you guys just put an entry down, because at the end of the day, it'd be pretty cool to have the chance to kind of take this home, whether you ride it, want to use it as art, or sell it and cash out, whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, ultimately, it's just supporting me and what the journey's ahead. And if this goes well, we'll do a giveaway with the club sport or both club sports that we're building now. So,
all right, Alan. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
See you, dude.
always cool to show people the place and meet new people, especially local. I've known Alan for a little while, not like on a personal level. I've only met him in person one time. It was quick at a moto social, but he actually knew my cousin Giancarlo, and some cool conversations fell into place, and finally we've connected, and he officially came to the shop. Pretty soon I'm gonna make time to ride to his and just shoot the shit. It's always relieving talking to people that know what you're doing and understand what you're doing, and just collaborating and just having a friend in the industry and just a friend in general. It's cool. So I'm super pumped. We got a moto social on Wednesday. That'll be fun to go to. I don't know if I'll ride the 450 or if I'll ride the 750, but moral of the story is we got to get back to working. And that was a good little hour break, but it's time to grind now, and no excuses. Let's roll.
You got any motorcycles for sale?
Wow. That's all I can say is, wow, my God, that's amazing.
All right, so what a lovely drop in. We had Alan swing by the shop today and spend a couple hours with me. That was great. And then got some really solid wiring progress done, which I'll update you on in just a moment. And then my mom dropped by and brought my grandmother. Oh, man. What a beautiful lady. Yeah. Yep. She comes in here and she's like, wow, this is quite the operation. Thanks, Grandma. I appreciate it. She's always so proud and, like, really makes a statement to me every time where it's like, dang, like, yeah, I kind of did do something here. Because a lot of times it feels like I haven't accomplished much just because I'm pretty hard on myself. But, anyways, enough of that. I want to update you on the wiring and where I'm at. So, I figured out the Deutsch connector problem. I was putting the internal clips. Okay, hang on. On the inside of the Deutsch connectors, there's like guides for the pins. One of them gets this guide pin, and the other side gets this guide pin. And basically, I was putting these in the wrong sides, resulting in me not allowing to click these things in place. So, I went ahead, figured it out. I wired up most of the Monoscope Pro. I'm running into an issue with the oil and neutral lights for some reason. It's usually the most simple thing, but every time I get stumped on what the right way to do it is. Needless to say, right here is the Deutsch connector for the Monoscope Pro. I'm going to go ahead and throw a connector on the front left blinker, a connector on the front right blinker, and then also throw a connector on the NFC lock, and finally throw a connector on the front left control unit. So the reason why I'm going to put connectors on everything is because when you go, let's say something quits out on the handlebar switch wires. So instead of having to remove the entire harness from the M unit forward, you're just going to have to unclip the front left where the handlebar is, remove the handlebar, remove the wires on the side of the Deutsch clip, and then you just replace it from there on whatever you have to replace. It keeps things way easier, way smoother, and way more serviceable. So that's the number one focus on me wiring this harness and for the K is serviceability. Again, I'll be very transparent. I'm not perfect at it yet. I have not figured out the best system. However, I've wired two M units. I've wired two M units that operate flawlessly, and wired an M unit where the harness is not one harness. I gotta focus on splitting this harness up into bits and sections so it is serviceable in the end. It's not going to be the best, but it will be able to be figured out much easier and straightforward than it would on what I've done already. So, I've also wired in the starter motor. Connect this up. Boom, the engine cranks really well. I had to extend the wire, and I was waiting for this brass piece to connect them properly. Soldered it up, and we're in business. So now I'm going to go ahead and continue working on the front end of the bike. All right, well, my wiring bubble has been completely bursted. We can't continue wiring. Well, we can continue wiring, but we cannot continue wiring in the stuff I want to wire in, which is the speedometer. And you may ask, why, Thomas, can't you wire in the speedometer? Well, the Monoscope Pro cannot be fully functional without something called a breakout box, sold by Moto Gadget. Every other fucking gauge they use, you just wire it up. Normal. No breakout box, no added products. You spend your $400 and you wire in the speedometer. No, you got to spend another $70 to have something called a breakout box in order to have our dash lights to work. What that means is neutral light, oil light, blinker lights, high beam and low beam, any other air, water temp, things like that, all indicators will not work unless we use a breakout box. And it is what it is. I ordered them up. We're going to get them. But I'm really nervous because I did not build the electrical tray to house a breakout box. Or anywhere else did I build a bracket for a breakout box. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Building a motorcycle may seem easy. It's achievable. You always have to think 70,000 steps ahead. And when you do, and when you think that you're thinking every step through, there's always one thing that you didn't know or you missed. So, there you have it, the realities of wiring and building 2 motorcycles in 30 days. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up for today. I'm pretty wiped out. It's 8 p.m. I still got to go home, edit the vlog, post the vlog. And I need to wrap my mind around what I'm going to do tomorrow, because the whole breakout box thing with the speedometer is really throwing me off, because it requires switch on power. So like key on power. That's what powers the unit up. Tells it to wake up effectively. And then I have the ignition coils, which also need to go into the ignition port on the M unit. And then I also have the black wire off the regulator rectifier that has to go into switch on, key on, ignition power, 12 volt source. I'm really struggling with the routing and connection of everything, because I am missing, I don't know. I'm just losing my mind here, because tomorrow I can definitely make progress on the wiring. I can get all the front controls wired into Deutsch connectors and figure out how those are going to route. That's no problem, along with the front handlebar switch controls, so like all the push buttons. From there, I think I'm going to take a step back from the wiring and start installing other stuff, like finalizing stuff. Torque in the front handlebar bolts, put blue thread locker on them, like align the mirrors, make sure those are good, like finalize installing the shocks instead of just having them mounted as a mock-up. Final installation on the rear swing arm, wheel, axle, chain, that stuff. Plus the chain, like install the clutch or the front sprocket cover. I can go through and have all the operational things bolted in, torqued in, ready to be done. I can even go as far as bleed the front brakes and make my front brake fluid reservoir bracket. I could do the same for the rear. I can measure the length of rear brake line I'm going to need. So there's a lot of stuff I can do tomorrow. I just need to remove my mind from the wiring for a couple days until this stuff arrives that I need. So, wow, it's a rainbow. You're not going to be able to see, but right there, there's a rainbow. Whatever. So, thanks guys for watching another day. This is going to conclude day 16. Tomorrow's day 17, obviously, and that means we have 23 days until this this show hits the road. I finally figured out the Deutsch connector issue. I was just simply putting them in backwards, but I'm doing okay. I don't know why I'm struggling so bad with the wiring. Like, I'm usually really quick with wiring the bikes, and I think what's thrown me off is a few different parts that we're using Moto Gadget wise, which is throwing off the traditional flow in my head. And the whole adding connectors bit is adding this extra layer of just overthinking that I think is causing me to become like mentally crippled, when in retrospect I shouldn't really think about it that much, because it's just making my one full loom that I'm used to making, but just putting a splice with a connector. So I think I'm overthinking things. So guys, drop a comment below on any questions, any statements. If you guys haven't already, get entered in the 450 giveaway. Really unique, really fun, and I'm looking to like conclude it. I'm gonna have it on display at Glory Days. That's gonna be like the last final straw. Shortly after there, we'll do the drawing. So end of September, first week in October, we're gonna be doing the drawing. So super excited. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.